Right. We're recording. How have you been doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good. I've been paying attention to the boom bust cycle that sometimes happens when life gets too busy, and I'm definitely having a bust day, but you start paying more attention to it and just doing a little more self-care when you know that you're having one of those days.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And which is what we had planned to talk about a little bit. Last time we talked, you were very early out of your surgeries and learning what life with a J pouch was like. And
Yep.
you have what, 3 years under your belt now?
Yeah, 2 to 3. Yeah, because my last surgery was 22, the end of 22. So yeah, 2.5-ish, 3 almost. Yep.
Yeah. And you've made a lot of changes in your life just to make sure that you're
A lot.
Yeah.
And it seems like I'm still learning even at 3 years. Like I love pancakes, and I've found that the cheap flour is a no-go, 100% no-go. Bloats me so bad. And if I want them, it's like I got to make them at home, but I can only have a small quantity. And now I'm to the point where it's like, I'd just rather not have them.
Right. Right. And you say that you're at the 3-year mark and you're still learning. I must be a slow learner because I'm telling you that there's some things that I'm just coming to realize, which is one of the things we've been talking about, is just calming your central nervous system.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've done a lot of reading and just trying to sort out like where exactly my body started to fight me. And I do believe that I was put into this survival mode at one point in my past, and my body held on to this stress cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've had that revelation yourself where you know where it came from.
Yep.
Yeah, feeling that churning in your gut and that feeling of tightness and like you can't breathe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really need to talk about that today, but I know now where it came from. And that feeling has followed me through my whole life, right? That literal feeling of panic, of doing. And oh my God, how am I going to get through this? And just not being able to really breathe.
Right.
This winter, I had a situation that really caused me to stop. Just stop. I had to stop. Otherwise, things were going to go bad for good for me. So I really started working on my central nervous system and noticed what a massive impact it has on your overall health and just calming my J pouch even. You and I were talking a little bit, and you said you've made some changes as well. I'm curious when you first started noticing that your nervous system had something to do with it.
I would say maybe a year ago. It seemed like after I got my food, the foods I wanted to eat and what I could eat and what wouldn't bother me, once I got that down to pretty much eating only things that don't bother me, was like, oh, something's still not right. My body hasn't adapted to it. Like, let me start figuring out what I can do to fix that. And I know a lot of people don't like cold exposure. I am not a fan of the cold. And I've lived in Ohio my whole life and still don't like the cold. But I've found that cold exposure, especially when I was sick, helped out a lot. Mm-hmm. Like when I was sick before my first surgery, I would lay on the cold concrete and almost be to the point where I was almost shivering, and it would make me feel better. And I don't know if that was the cold helping me or it was just keeping my mind off of what was going on. But now for the past year and a half, I've been doing cold plunges a couple times a week. And that seems to help a lot. And I don't know if it's just a placebo effect, but it definitely seems to help me feel better, calm my nervous system, and not be as stressed and just kind of let go.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that probably has something to do with your vagus nerve. I don't know if you read about
Yes.
vagus nerve and your central nervous system, because even just getting into cold shower or washing your face with a cold face cloth when you have those moments of elevated stress
Yep.
really helps. I
It's
do.
amazing how that works.
Yeah. I did do a cold plunge when I was in Victoria with my daughter this spring, and I also hate the cold. And I did feel like it helped me stress wise, but my J pouch hated it.
Really?
I was like, I was like, honey, I'll be right back. My J pouch hated it. It's like, okay, I'll be back.
Right.
Yeah, so it just sent it into a spasm. But I mean, when it comes to my stress and how I was feeling inside, it definitely made a difference. So I would cold plunge again, but maybe not.
Maybe just stick to cold showers.
Yeah, exactly. So I was wondering about when you figured out that the stress in your life and your central nervous system. When did you figure that out? You're like 2.5 years out.
I would say probably about 1.5 years, 2 years in was about when I started figuring it out.
Right. And what changes have you made besides the cold plunging? Like, I have left my career. I know that was a huge thing for me, stress wise. I was nursing 12, 8, 16-hour shifts, nights and evenings, and all over the map. And I couldn't figure out why I was so sick. Right. So that's the first time I realized, okay, I need to make a change.
Right.
Right. So what are the things that you've done besides cold plunging for taking better care of your central nervous system?
Well, with work, obviously, I'm a little too young to quit still. I'd love to, but I've tried to, and I don't want to say not think about work while I'm not at work, but I try to keep work at work and not stress out about it too much. And I've also, I started running about maybe 1.5 years, 2 years, about 1.5 years ago right now. And that helps tremendously. I know it's a stressor on the body, but it definitely helps me de-stress. I also do breathing exercises in the morning. I try to go out with the first sunlight on the days I don't run, because I get that while I'm out running. I run in the morning. I go out and do some breathing exercises. And I do practice mindfulness. I have an app. I can't remember what it's called, but I have an app that helps guide you through it, almost like meditation. And that seems to help a lot too.
Okay. Yeah, I've brought in meditation and breath work as well. In those moments during the day where I feel myself ramping up, I literally stop everything. And even laying down for 3 minutes and just concentrating on your breath. And if I'm feeling like that's not working, then I'll put on a guided meditation. What a difference.
Right. It's amazing what kind of difference it makes.
Yeah, it does. I remember during my surgeries doing that, like actually going to a different place in my mind. I could always go to the ocean when the pain was too much. I plugged music into my ears and did that, but I didn't really follow that up after my surgeries. You know, life goes on and kids and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You just start pedaling that bike again, and you just keep going. So, and then I've also started doing therapy this winter that has helped quite a bit. I feel like that's something that's not really brought forward by our surgeons and specialists, to make sure that you're taking care of your mental health and talking about it and not keeping it all inside. You've clearly learned about the connection between your gut and your brain and keeping yourself healthy. Do you find that it's made a difference with whether you're flaring? You've not been diagnosed with Crohn's since your surgeries.
No, only UC. My surgeon still thinks that that's all I had.
Okay.
So I've only had one case of pouchitis, which the antibiotics knocked that out within a day. It wasn't back to 100%, but I think the food that you eat is a huge deal with keeping the flare-ups down.
Yeah.
You know, like I think having a food journal is huge. I had one for probably 6 months.
Yeah.
And now I've found something as simple as like in the cheaper seasonings, they put silicon dioxide in them. And that I've noticed bloats me a little. And the only way I was able to figure that out was I know that was the only different thing I put in my food. So I tried it again and was like, yep, that's definitely what did it. Let's not eat that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been encouraging people to start food diaries because it definitely helps you. I mean, we all have those days where we're like, I really want that pizza.
Yep.
And then you do it. And then, you know, at 2 a.m., you're like, this is why I don't eat pizza, sort of thing. But yeah, it definitely makes a huge difference. And how about sleep? What have you managed to do to improve your sleep quality? Do you feel like you're getting good night's sleep?
It varies. I would say maybe 75% of the time I get decent sleep. But like I said, I think eating whole foods, staying hydrated, getting enough potassium, magnesium, and stuff like that. And also, I only usually eat 2 bigger meals and maybe 1 smaller meal. Because I've found the more space in between my meals, the slower it runs through my system. So I tried the multiple small meals like they always suggest. And it just seemed to like, oh, let's get it out. Let's get it out. And I was going to the bathroom all day. And you can't sleep. I'm up 5 times trying to go to the bathroom. And now if I eat a smaller dinner, I might only wake up once to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And
So
then
you have your larger meal earlier in the day.
my largest meal is my first meal around probably like 9 o'clock. It's usually like 1,100 calories. It's a large meal. And then I'll have, depending on if I run in the morning or afternoon, I'll have something smaller in the afternoon, maybe. And then I'll have mainly protein and maybe some fats for a dinner. I've found that eating like rice, sweet potatoes, stuff like that in the PM, I'm up multiple times in the middle of the night going to the bathroom.
Right. When we spoke not long after your surgeries, you were doing some intermittent fasting. Do you still do that?
I do it if I have something to do. Like if we're going somewhere or if we're traveling. Like we just went on a cruise in January.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't eat breakfast. I'm trying to remember when our flight was late. And I didn't eat until we got there. So I use intermittent fasting more for traveling, or if we have a long drive, I'll just not eat until we get there. It's just easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I do the same thing. If I have a massage appointment at 1 p.m. or something, I'll eat afterwards. So I try to book my appointments where I'll be uncomfortable or there won't be a
Yes.
readily available. I'll always try to book it, not first thing in the morning because my body hates that, but I'll book it midday. So I'm not
Yes.
waiting until 5 p.m. to eat, but I also go with an empty stomach. It's funny how we just learn how to cope that way. And I feel like it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to learn when some people just need more nutrition or whatever. I feel like I'm probably not getting enough nutrition. I've did a urine sample a couple weeks ago and it actually came back with protein and ketones in it, which says that your body could be in a bit of starvation mode. So noted. And now,
Right.
now you make a change and you pay a little more attention. Weird things have been happening for me, like random body swelling. And there's a name for it and I can't remember, but it's like red bumps on my body. I had a really stressful time in July and both my legs broke out in this weird rash. And my GI doctor doesn't think it has anything to do with my J pouch or Crohn's, but I was like, this is weird because it's stress. And then this happens. So certain things like that have been happening. And it's just a matter of noting it down and being like, this was weird. Right. And then write it down, because if it happens again, your brain is trying to sort out, okay, this happened once before. What was the situation that surrounded it? But if you can put that puzzle together sooner, then you just know what to do next time, right?
Right. Absolutely.
What foods would you say that you totally stay away from now? For me, it's sugar. I just don't do gluten. I can do here and there, but my body seems to not break it down. I end up with really bad acne if I eat gluten, and I get bloated big time. So what are the foods that you are just not going to happen for you?
A lot of vegetables, it seems. I like them raw. I can't have them raw for sure. I've found the better the quality of the flour, the better I tolerate it. Like if I get the bleached, enriched, oh yeah, I'm gonna be bloated, upset, laying or rolling around saying, and I wish I
I
had done that.
don't.
But if I buy like example, the King Arthur flour, that's a higher quality, it still bothers me a little, but I can have a small amount of it
Right.
and it's fine. But there's a lot of the foods I can't have, like a lot of the highly processed stuff. I try to stick with the single ingredient foods.
Yeah.
Like say shop the outside edge of the store and that's it. I've also found I can have milk, but it has to be like grass-fed milk.
Right.
It can't be the cheap Kroger brand gallon of milk.
Yeah.
I can only assume it's what they're feeding the animal that's bothering me. Because I can eat chicken, but it has to be from a free range place where they're eating their natural diet versus eating 100% grain diet.
Yeah. And not injected with antibiotics and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
Yeah. You've really, I mean, I spoke to you the first time you weren't out of surgery for very long, and you've really grasped the concept of full life change and really paying attention. It's taken me a while to even realize that my body was screaming at me and there are things that I could do to change that, right? I've been so focused on career and raising kids and whatever, you kind of put that on the back burner. But I've been trying to encourage people to really do a full life assessment, right? And be able to note down when your body starts to go into panic mode or survival mode and what foods, because I've really been noticing now that I have changed that. It does make a huge difference. So,
yes, I think,
sorry.
I think a big thing is we're taught not to be selfish. Don't be selfish. Do for others. And I think a big thing with this disease is you unfortunately have to be selfish. You have to say no. I mean, like people ask you to go do something like, well, yeah, I'm not doing good today. I'm not going to make it. And you almost have to not be sorry about it, or that's going to stress you out, and then you're going to mess your system up. I had a friend ask me, let's go out to eat. And I'm like, well, I can go to eat at this place and this place.
Yeah.
That's it. I can't go eat anywhere else because I know that they have stuff that I can eat. Or like my mom and dad, I just went out and ate with them and they wanted to go somewhere. I was like, okay, send me the menu. So that way I can look, see what they have. You got to pre-plan your meals when you go out eating now.
Yeah.
Or you're going to end up not eating.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's one of those choosing 1 or 2 times a month where you're like, I'm going to have this. I know my body's going to hate me. But for me, I still need to have that aspect of social connection because I get really depressed if I don't get it. I find since I've been building boundaries, right? Because you have to. And that's one thing I was terrible at. Your social circle kind of dwindles maybe. And it has. And that's okay. You just have to, like you said, be okay with being selfish and just building those boundaries for yourself because your health depends on it, right? And then
absolutely
pacing yourself. Like this week, I didn't pace myself enough and I'm paying for it, right? Nobody else was aware, but I'm like, I'm in so much pain today, right? So it does make a huge difference. I do feel like our illness to begin with was triggered by that inability to build boundaries for ourselves and holding it all in, right? Not speaking our minds and not being open about what we were going through. And you just hold it all inside. It just becomes this stress. You've talked to me before about, like, you've just been talking to anybody who'll listen about J pouches, and you've been really trying to educate your doctors and your specialists about not just the physical aspect of, okay, now we have a J pouch, everything that surrounds it. Do you manage on your own with it, or have you brought in some other supports that help you get through it? Or are you the leader and you're supporting?
I would say both. I try to make sure that it's going to benefit. I don't want to say benefit me because it sounds bad, but you know, like we were just talking about, you got to do things that are good for your health. But my girlfriend, she is amazing. She's okay. We can only eat at these couple places. Cool. That's what we're going to eat. She pretty much lets me pick where we're going to eat, what we're going to eat. I mean, she gets her own meal, you know, of course, but I mean, I do all the cooking and she's 100% supportive of that. I just had that pouchitis. She took care of me that entire week.
Yeah.
You know, just picked up the slack, no question. And I think that's huge, is having somebody, because I read on the Facebook groups, people will post that there's significant others not supportive at all. And that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You can't do it alone. I mean, my parents, like I told you last time we talked, my dad has ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, and he has pancreatitis.
Oh, gee.
And my mom is super supportive of him and takes care of him, picks up the slack, no question. So my circle's small, but it's a great support system. And I think that's another reason I try to reach out to anybody and everybody that has questions or needs some help, because I mean, what's the knowledge worth if we're not willing to share it?
No, exactly. Exactly. And I think that that's why I've started this group too, is I've tended to be that person who didn't build boundaries and had a spouse who was very unsupportive. And I look back and I'm like, wow, I deserved to be able to rest sometimes. And it's no wonder my body got into this like such a survival mode that I'm still working on it every day to just calm my central nervous system. But now I know there is nothing and nobody in this world who is going to pop me out of this taking care of myself.
Absolutely.
You come into my life to cause chaos, you are out, bro. Okay?
Yep. You're gone.
Yeah, exactly. The support systems are huge. And also, I feel like we have to be our own best advocate, right? You know when something is wrong with your body, you know when you need to just
Yep.
Advocate for yourself. I've been reading about imposter syndrome with chronic illness. We get this mode where we're like, am I really that sick? I mean, maybe I'm just being a wimp, you know, that sort of thing.
I've definitely been there.
Yeah. And you're like, you know, in your mind that you are not doing well, but we've got this invisible illness and we're just like, we're almost our own worst enemies sometimes.
Yep, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything else besides the cold plunges, meditation, and running that you've done to calm your central nervous system?
Just trying to de-stress everything. You know, you come home to I'm trying to think of the word. I don't even know what word I'm trying to use. But you come home.
Environment.
Right. You don't want your home to be in chaos, or like you said, people that aren't trying to help you or aren't positive in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the biggest thing I've done is, like you said, if you're not positive or you're not helping me out, you know, if you're negative, goodbye. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've done, other than doing the other stuff you said.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. I'm actually starting to slowly pack up my home and make a move because I've been noticing my body is not doing upkeep and all that. I'm just like, okay, I need to make a change to be able to get up in the morning and do things that bring me peace in my life rather than do constantly. It's been about 4 years. It's been nagging at the back of my brain. You need to get out of this house. And that's why I'm starting to make the moves towards that, which is very stressful, but also needs to be done. It's, I think, one of the biggest things right now that I need to change. So it's not always an easy transition. Sometimes you know what needs to be removed from your life, and that includes people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not always easy, and you just really need to assess what it's doing to you, right? I had a doctor once that I was talking to, and he brought, I don't know if you've heard of what is it called? the drowning rat psychology experiment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I've heard of it.
Do you feel like you've been there?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Especially when I was sick. Cause I mean, I was sick for 2 years before I actually had the surgery. And essentially it was that drowning rat. I was just existing. I wasn't actually living.
Yeah. And they
And
did find that the rats that didn't have hope, they drowned, right? And the rats that were pulled out of the water, resuscitated, saved, and then put back in the water would continue to swim.
yes,
Right? So I guess my message with my page is just providing hope to people and just looking beyond the surface, because you go to your specialists and you go to your doctors and you're telling them you don't feel well and it's all this physical thing, but we have to have hope. We need to look beyond the surface of our illness and see the things that we need to change in ourselves and reach out to the people who give us hope and keep us going. So
absolutely.
we can keep being that rat that swims to the top every time.
Right. Well, and clearly we're all too stubborn to too stubborn to make changes, but
Yeah.
we need.
We need to. And I mean, at the end of the day, if you're doing things to change it, then you're not in the water treading anymore and you're not
Right.
drowning every 3 days. You're just in a good place, right?
Right.
So,
Moving along slowly.
that's right. Yeah. And just checking yourself every day, just checking yourself and asking yourself where you're at. Because when you don't get off that treadmill and you don't stop treading water,
Wear yourself out.
that's right. That's right. So I appreciate you talking with me today. You always sound so positive. You said that you've been talking to your physicians and trying to spread a little more knowledge. What is it that you're telling them is missing in our healing journeys?
I think the knowledge aspect of it. I don't think they're compiling what their patients are telling them and then giving it to their other patients. I think it's the healthcare system. They're overscheduled. They got to get you in there, talk to you. You're goodbye. My surgeon's great, but I don't see him in person. But every other year when I get my scope, the other one is just a quick video chat. You're doing good. Okay.
Yeah.
See you next year. And I think it's the healthcare system that prevents them from actually doing anything more than just saying, "Oh, you're still alive. Okay, goodbye." And it's, you got to be your own advocate. You got to tell them what's going on. This is what's going on. I'm feeling this. This doesn't seem right.
Yeah. I've been writing emails when I have good days and getting good responses. I've got a response from the Ministry of Health BC just yesterday saying we've got multidisciplinary programs for renal, for cancer, for whatever. However, we don't have one for gastroenterology. So good on you for trying to push this forward. So
Right.
I feel like if we can all look at our healthcare systems and be that squeaky wheel, I mean, start to make a little bit of noise, because gastroenterology has always been just tucked into the back closet, and we deserve care just as much as anyone else. So,
Well, and the GI tract is huge. I mean, that's a huge part of your body, and
yeah.
there's not much support for it.
Yeah. And it's connected to the brain, right? They're like, oh,
Right.
yeah. So, all right. Well, I appreciate your time today. I know you're a busy man, and I am going to go take care of my body. And
All right.
I do appreciate you talking with me today. And
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know when I'll get this posted, hopefully sometime this weekend, but
No rush.
yeah, I know. We're really good at that. Hey, we're like, okay, we're going to do it Wednesday. No, actually, that's
Right.
a day. We'll
No,
just
we need
keep
to
pushing
skip
until
that
we
day.
figure it out. Yeah, so I guess we know where we're coming from, but you just
Absolutely.
kind of have to do it when you both feel well enough to do it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, you take care of you, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
You too.
Thanks, Jeff.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, always. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.